think we are on. Let me just check that everything is working okay at this end. I think that it is. It's Chris here, just jumping in a couple of minutes before we are due to start. And thank you so much for joining me. I'd love to know, I'm actually using a brand new webinar software here. Can you hear me okay? Maybe you can let me know in the chat area. If you can hear me, there should be an area to the right-hand side. Nicole, thank you so much, Nicole. I appreciate you jumping in here and saying, yes, that's great. Marvin, Martin, Michael, guys, in fact, I'm going to quickly turn on my camera as well. See my ugly English mug here. If you can let me know you can see me and hear me okay. This is an amazing new piece of webinar software I've been testing, by the way, so I do appreciate you being here. Kenneth is here. Marvin, Sar, Andrea, coming in loud and clear. Ed, Michael, Frank J, Harold, Nick. Guys, I really appreciate you jumping in and joining me. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for carving out a little bit of time out of your day as well. Thank you if you are here live. Maybe you're watching the recording when I've sent this out, but I appreciate you giving up your time live. Hello from Florida. It's a beautiful day here in Los Angeles as well, but let's not mention the England football defeat a few days ago. I said I wasn't going to mention it. Right, so if you've known me for any amount of time, you may well know that I like to be very effective with my time and like to honor what I say. So it's on the hour. It's 9 a.m. Pacific time. This is live. So this is a live webinar. This isn't one of those automated things. So I want to jump in straight away. I might keep my camera on just for a few minutes, but then I will turn it off in a few moments' time. Now, you can see my screen okay. Can I just quickly ask, can you see it? You should be able to see a picture of me and something that says welcome to the webinar. As I say, this is the first time I've used this brand new software. So if I can just check that you can, Marvin, thank you. Frank, great. Dawn, thanks, Marvin. I appreciate your nice words. Right, I'm just going to jump in. Great having you here. So would you like to know, I have a question for you straight away, how to use the time that you may already be spending on the internet to bring over maybe $500 a month in your spare time. Now I say $500, there is a reason I've chosen that figure. It's a very conservative figure, incidentally, but I'd rather under promise and over deliver than, of course, the other way around. And I'll come on to why $500 in a few moments time. But that's essentially really what I want to go through in this presentation. The web is something that can easily allow us to do this, but only when we understand the roadmap, the process, the blueprint, the steps, if you like. And that's really the point of this presentation. So this presentation, let's be totally clear about this. I said this in the email, or if you saw my message in the Facebook group, I was very transparent about who this is for. I do share more advanced tactics and strategies online about growing and scaling your business, but this presentation is not one of those. This presentation is for you if you count yourself as a newcomer or a beginner, which is absolutely great, by the way. This web is we're still on the starting block. We're still in the infancy. So now really is the time to get started. And the tools to allow us to get started could not be simpler. Even just in the last few years, things have got 1,000 times easier. So if you count yourself as a beginner or a newcomer, and you found yourself thinking about wanting to have a web business, but you're not really too sure, what do I actually do? Obviously, making money is attractive, but that's the end destination. How do we get there? Well, then you are in the right place for this presentation. Also, if you've been online for a while and maybe you're not earning anything, which I know can almost be a bit embarrassing because you're thinking, gosh, I've been on this for a while and I'm putting all this time and effort in, and I'm not actually making anything or hardly anything, then this presentation is for you. And finally, if you do happen to have an idea for an online business, but you've no idea where to start, this is also for you. Even if you've no idea, by the way, you're in the right place. But if you have a little idea, maybe it's a side hustle, maybe it's something you do in your job, and you like to make some money with that online, but you're not really sure how to do it. It can be done, then you are in the right place. So can also just quickly check, is my energy okay with you? I'm very conscious of presentations. I don't want to talk at you, and it's a weird dynamic, somebody talking for 40 minutes without essentially a conversation in return. So I never want to be hopefully boring. I want to keep the energy high. I don't want to talk too quickly, but at the same time, have you been on presentations where people just talk like this and you're thinking, man, I can't even watch this person? And don't even start me when people tell their story for like 20 minutes. Who cares? Nobody cares. So there will be none of that here. So just checking the energy. Ed, thank you, my man. Thank you, bud. Right. Okay. So let's carry on. So my aim is to do all this in less than 40 minutes. Okay. We're about 36 minutes in. What I want to share with you as well, this will sound random. Many people spend years and they do not learn what we're about to go through in the next 40 minutes. In fact, let me share a very quick aside. I speak quite a lot at events. I was speaking at an event recently. It was a mastermind. I won't say who it is because it would be unfair to them. But these people in the mastermind had paid between, I think it was $27,000 up to $52,000 to be in this mastermind. I was there for a few days, at least 12 or 13 times over the few days when I was at the breaks or walking to the restroom. People would pull me aside and say, have you got time for 10 minutes for a coffee, Chris? Because I still don't really understand how this business works. So it's amazing how many people will spend a lot of money but still don't understand the process. So we're going to make sure that you, at the very least, if nothing else, you come out of this presentation at least understanding. I want you to be able to sit down over dinner later this evening, talk to your partner and say, do you know what? I finally understand how a web business works. It's this, boom, boom, boom. So that's my goal. Now, something unusual I want to quickly share with you as well. Let's just get this out of the way. And it is as follows. At the end of this presentation, I will be making you an offer. The offer is for Chris Farrell membership. Why am I saying this at the very beginning? Let me tell you, because I wanted to tell you the price of Chris Farrell membership right at the beginning, because I'm sure you've been on presentations before and you know the deal. Somebody will talk for a little bit and share something and then they'll sell something. And all the time we're thinking, okay, here comes the sale. How much is it going to be? They're not going to knock down the price. So I want to get all that out of the way straight away. And I'm just going to tell you, so then hopefully you can enjoy this presentation without worrying, where does the sale come? So Chris Farrell membership is $4.95 for 7 days access, and then it's $37 a month. So I just wanted to get that up front, transparent. So I will be mentioning that towards the end of this presentation. So now you can hopefully enjoy this presentation without worrying about where is the sale coming. Okay, great. Now, let me ask you a quick question. For 20 seconds or so, could you just type in the chat, what would you say is your... Excuse me, just blow my nose here. I keep sneezing here in LA. I think it's the allergies. What would you say is your number one challenge online? I'm just interested to see. Pete saying information overload. Frank is saying the tech challenge. So's Ed saying the tech challenge. Finding a niche, staying focused. Overwhelm. The step-by-step recipe. Leads. Marketing. Okay. Email content. Identifying the right niche. All the techie bits. Overload. Okay, so I kind of sense that they would sort of be the answers. I think it can be summed up with one word or two words, and really that's information overload. Would you agree? It's very easy in this business to feel completely bombarded. And a lot of the time, let's be honest with each other, a lot of this business, we're solopreneurs, aren't we? A lot of the time, we're spending a lot of time doing this really on our own. Might have a little bit of help, but the majority is on our own. So it's quite challenging to kind of think, who can I turn to? Where can I go? So information overload is definitely the number one struggle and the number one reason why most people end up quitting. There's a famous entrepreneurial saying, which is as follows: just because you could do something doesn't mean you should do something. And the reason I wanted to mention this is because, talking of information overload, it's very easy to feel as if, you know, we have to have funnels, we have to have a webinar, we have to master Facebook Live, we have to master Instagram. There's all these things. And suddenly it's like, my goodness, this is overwhelming. And what I always revert to is this saying here: just because we could do something doesn't mean we should do something. Just because you might hear about this great new tool doesn't mean you need to go and get it. Just because you hear about automated webinars doesn't mean you need to go and study it. So just because you could do something, it does not mean that you should do something. So what I want to do, therefore, is I want to give you the exact steps to simplifying an online business so we can ignore all this clutter, so we can ignore all this information overload. I like to call this the engine of a web business. And I've said before, this engine is essentially the same pretty much for 95% of web businesses. But most people don't understand what that engine is. So this is really going to be a good use of the next 30 minutes of your time. So I'm thrilled that you're here. I feel like I'm speaking at 1,000 miles an hour. I hope that I'm not. So let's jump in, ladies and gentlemen. And you may have heard me talk about this possibly before, but I want to make sure that we start from ground zero and move up. The good news there is that there are only 3 steps. And if you're making notes, you may want to make a note of this. And don't feel that, oh, I already know this. These are the fundamentals that every good business is built upon, with the emphasis on fun, okay? Get these right, you will make money. The reason most people do not make money is they don't get these right. So let's be focused and be disciplined, and let's talk about these 3 steps. Talking of focus, I just want you to focus on what we're going to go through. I'm sure you know what focus stands for. It stands for follow one course until successful. So let's just focus on what we are going through over the next few minutes. Sound good? Give me a cyber high five if that sounds good to you. So we're going to stick with this three-step plan that I want to go through. Now, here's the thing. By the way, just let me quickly check in. I don't want to detract. Energy-wise, pacing-wise, is it okay with you? Again, I've said before, I've been on so many presentations, I'm sure you have, where even within like 2 minutes, I'm thinking, I can't even listen to this guy. They're either boring or they're talking about themselves or their energy is flat. So, you know, it's a weird dynamic for me to talk, as I say, for 40 minutes without allowing somebody to reciprocate like in a normal conversation. So I'm very conscious of that. I'm trying to keep it open and trying to keep you involved as much as possible. And we want to keep this short as well. Great. Thank you, guys. So, yeah, no fluff here. Thanks, Nicole. So everything in today's presentation can be summed up in 3 words. 3 words. These 3 words, ladies and gentlemen, will change your entire business. The 3 words, and again, you may have heard me talk about this. I talk about this at various events around the world, but the 3 words are as follows. Any success online can be summed up in these 3 words. Build a list. Build a list, build a list, build a list, build a list. This will change everything for you. Every single person that makes a regular income online has a list of people that they can market to. Now, I would take that even further, not even market to, but engage with as well. Allow those people to know, like, and trust them. We will come on to that. But let me share something with you. If you did nothing more than for the next few months, just built a list, and it does not have to be a big list. It can just be a few hundred people. That could more than make you $500, $1,000, $2,000 a month easily. You can't do that if you don't have a list. So if you take away nothing else from this presentation, please just take away that building a list, having people that we can resonate with, connect with. I suspect the reason you are here on this presentation is because you are on my list. So, you know, I'm not just talking the talk, I'm walking the walk. I do put into practice what I preach. So we'll come back to building a list in a few moments' time. But let me just quickly talk about how much is your list worth. I mentioned $500 earlier as a realistic and very conservative figure that you can make every month online. It's generally considered that each email address on your list is worth about $1 a month. Okay, that's a general ballpark figure. Of course, not everybody will purchase, but some people will be worth more than $1 a month. So if your goal, therefore, is to make $500 a month, obviously it stands to reason you need an email list of about $500 people. Now, you may be thinking, hang on, Chris, aren't people opening email less and less? Yes, that is true. However, get this. Email marketing, or spending time rather in email, is still the #1 activity online. More people spend time on email than they do on social networks, on messaging apps. So it's still the #1 activity online. The people that say that email are getting opened less, ironically, are the people that every time they email are trying to sell something. Of course, their emails are going to get opened less. They're just trying to make a sale. Nobody likes to feel as if they're being sold to all the time. Now, ironically, we all like to buy, don't we? We all like to buy stuff. That's kind of a human need, but we don't like to be made to feel as if we're being sold to. And there's a big difference. And if you're smart, which you are, we can create that good relationship through email marketing. So email marketing still works. It's still very much alive if we build a relationship with those people on our list, which we're going to come on to. So the 3 most important words are build a list. Great. I love you. I love the fact that you just are conscious of that. So continuing with looking at our engine of the web business, now that the overriding theme for our engine is to build a list, how do we actually do it, Chris? Come on, let's break this down. Well, here's the thing. There are 3 steps of making money online. I just want to quickly check on our time. Okay, we're on great time. We've only been going 13 minutes, so this is terrific. There are only 3 steps. And now, again, you may have heard me say this before. If you have, that's great, but please just listen to this with an open heart and with an open mind, because this changes everything. It's a little bit of heavy lifting at first, like any business, but not a huge amount. All this can be done within a few weeks if you're focused, so not long at all. But let's talk about these 3 steps. So if you're making notes, these are what we need to make notes about. Firstly, step 1, the very first thing we do is we find a profitable niche. That's the very first thing we do. In other words, we find an area online where people are already spending money. That's the first thing. A lot of people start by thinking about their product, which is wrong. We'll talk about that in a few moments' time. But this is where we begin. We identify an area, a market where people are already spending money. Guess what? There's bazillions of them. Just go to Amazon, look at their categories. Go to dummies.com, look at their categories. Go to ebay.com, look at the categories. There's a trillion areas online where people are already spending money. But the point is, this is where we start. Now, we'll come back to this in a few seconds. I just want to quickly give you the 3 steps. Then we'll come back and we'll look at them in a bit more detail. Is that okay with you? So let me just give you the overview. Then I will come back to them, I promise you. I'm not just going to quickly just talk about them, then move on. So step 1 is we find a profitable niche. Step 2 is once we've identified what our niche is, then we build a list of email addresses. I've just talked about the importance of building a list. But that's step 2. We build a list of people that are interested in this niche. So imagine our niche is, I don't know, veganism. So that's our profitable niche. Step 2, we then build a list of people that have said, hey, I'm interested in veganism. Now, we haven't made any money yet, but interestingly, we're doing something more important, would you believe? There is something more important than making money. We're building an asset. We're building people, a database of people that are interested in an area that is already profitable. So that's step 2, we build a list. And again, I'll come back and show you how to do this in a second. And then step 3, once we have our list, then and only then does the monetization take place. That's where we market products, services that we think our list will be interested in, because of course they will be based on that subject matter. So this is the overview. Now, I appreciate if you've never seen this before, I'm throwing this out at you, but this is the framework where 95% of businesses that are successful operate under these 3 steps. And when it's broken down simply, this is something that you and I can do. We don't have to be a Nike or an Apple or a Microsoft. We can be an individual working from home, earning a good, decent extra income online. Once, though, we only understand these 3 steps. So let's keep going, because I appreciate your attention here. So I don't want the energy to drop. So let's talk about finding a profitable niche. Let's talk about this for a couple of minutes, okay? And then we'll jump into step 2 and step 3. Let me just quickly stop as well, just for 15 seconds. And let me just check in on the chat. How are we feeling? Are we feeling okay? How is the energy? How is it all so far? Just want to quickly check. Okay. Hey, Brian Adden, excuse me, Brian Addy is here. Okay, good. Right, chaps, thank you. I'm not fishing for compliments here, by the way. I'm genuinely wanting to make sure that this is making sense and that you're feeling energized, and that this is something that we can do. And again, I don't want to ding much of your day time-wise. I want to let you get back to your day in 25 minutes. So that's my plan. I'm actually flying to London later today, so I've got to pack in a few minutes' time as well. So I'm on a time crunch as well. Right, I'm just going to turn my camera off for a fraction. I'm going to turn it back on again in about 10 minutes, okay? But I will turn my camera off just for a fraction. So carry on. So let's talk about finding a profitable niche. Okay, so let me just collect my thoughts. So this is where we begin. This is where we begin, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to creating a successful online business. Now, interestingly, a lot of people make a very common mistake when they create their business, and they start with what they want to sell. I briefly mentioned this a few moments ago. A lot of people, maybe you've done this yourself, and don't beat yourself up if you have, but a lot of people start in an online business by thinking, do you know what? I want to sell this, or I want to create this product. Believe it or not, starting an online business by thinking about what you're going to sell, in other words, your product, is quite simply wrong. I understand if you've thought that. It's almost an intuitive thing to think. But here's the thing. A product is not a business. In fact, there's nothing more common than a website that has a product that is making 0 sales. Maybe you know this firsthand yourself. So I know it sounds a little bit counterintuitive, but we don't even worry at the beginning about what we are going to sell. That sounds weird, doesn't it? But it's true. We don't even worry about what we are going to sell. That takes a lot of pressure off you. Everything starts with choosing a niche. Everything, 100%. In fact, let me share with you what super successful marketers do. They enter a new niche. Let's say, I don't know, the makeup niche. They build a list of people interested in this case, makeup. They don't even know what they're going to sell yet. The product is the last piece of the puzzle. Is that clear? We want to be 100% focused when we start on what our niche is. Don't even worry about the product for now. Does that make sense? So we're starting with the niche. Now, with that in mind, you are either, while you're watching this presentation, you're either one of the following. You either know your niche already, which is great, or clearly you don't. And that's totally okay. So let's quickly spend about 2 minutes looking at both of these, if you know your niche or indeed if you don't, because I know many people are not too sure about their niche, and I want to make sure that we really shine some light on that. But firstly, let's just quickly talk about if you are watching this presentation and you think, Chris, I kind of think I know what my web business would be about. That's terrific. So if you already know your niche, or you've got a strong idea of the subject matter of your niche, great. It could be your existing job. You may want to have something online to complement what you already do. So I don't know, if you're a coach, let's say, you might want to create an online program to leverage your time and your expertise and maybe answer the majority of questions that you talk about in your coaching practice. Maybe your niche is something that you've already got a bit of knowledge about, something that you're passionate about, something that you enjoy. It really doesn't matter. If you know what you think your niche could be, great, that's fine. However, let's talk about for a few minutes if you don't know, if you're not sure. So if you're watching this presentation, you would love to earn a little bit of extra income online, you're not too sure what your niche would be, you now understand that the very first thing is finding a profitable niche, but you're not sure what your niche could be. Well, let's explore some ideas right now very quickly. In fact, I've got 2 tips for you. 2 tips for you if you are unsure of your niche. Tip 1 is as follows. If you're not sure what your niche could be, start with what you know. And let's do this experiment together right now. Have a think, what do you know a comfortable amount about? Just, brainstorm. Maybe you're good at exercise or cooking or making videos on your iPhone or Instagram or photography. Do you have a particular skill such as Photoshop or WordPress? Or maybe you know a lot about health or diet or motivation or meditation or time management or mindfulness. It doesn't really matter. We're just looking at what you already know. Now, a good way to frame this is to ask yourself, what do people ask you about? This actually really is quite fascinating. What do friends of yours ask you advice on? So could it be, I don't know, kettlebell training, cryptocurrency, veganism? All we're doing right now is we're just exploring ideas. There's no right and wrong. So start with what you know if you're unsure what your niche could be. Do you have experience doing something in particular? Are you good at traveling cheaply or putting on events, or are you a public speaker? Have you written a book? So start with what you know. Again, we're just exploring ideas. We're just having some fun. There's no right and wrong. Now, that's tip 1. Tip 2, I understand that you may not feel that you do know a lot about something or enough about something. So if that is the case, if you're thinking, Chris, I don't even really know what I do know, then tip 2 will hopefully help you. Start with what you are interested in. So let's flip it a little bit. What are your hobbies? What do you do for fun? What are your interests? What do you like to read about? What magazines do you gravitate towards? Every time I'm at an airport or a magazine store, there's always certain areas. I always go towards the personal growth and the business section. So that's obviously would be a clue for me. So all we're doing again here is exploring your own interests as a good way to start. And do this test on yourself, what you're interested in. In fact, I did this just before this presentation. I wrote down some things I'm just genuinely interested in. Didn't overthink them. And I've just got a quick list here. I've got traveling, stand-up comedy, energy hacks, time management, automating my business, juicing, earning money while traveling, personal development, and editing movies. So they're just some things that I'm interested in. So again, I'm exploring ideas. So let's let our creative juices start to flow with ideas. So if you're not sure of what your niche should be, start with what you know, and then start with what you are interested in. Okay, so that is just, we're brainstorming here. Step 1. So step 1 is find a profitable niche. I can't emphasize enough that this is where we start. So step 1, find a profitable niche. So let's quickly summarize. The 3 steps are: we find a profitable niche. Step 2 is we build a list of email addresses of people that are interested in this niche. Step 3 is we market related products to our list. So step 2 then, now that we know what our niche could be. So let's say, in my case, let's say cryptocurrency, because I'm genuinely interested in cryptocurrency. So let's say I decide, okay, that's going to be my niche. Now, I don't know what I'm going to sell. I don't know about the product, because the product is the last piece of the puzzle, isn't it? But I've identified my niche. Great. So I've got step 1. Step 2 then, in my case, let's say cryptocurrency, I build a list of people interested in my niche. Now, what does this mean? Well, what this means is that we do not need to have, and this is great, a website. All we need to have is a web page. One page. That is it. These pages are known as landing pages. I'm sure you've heard this term before. These are essentially one page websites, or a web page. There's many tools out there that allow us to create beautiful looking one-page websites. And these one-page websites give our visitor two options. They can either join our list, which of course is our objective, or they click away and they do not join our list. That is it. So what I'm saying here is we do not need a website. I know a ton of people with busy websites, lots of links and blogs, you know, technically nothing wrong with that. But to be perfectly frank with you, and it breaks my heart to say this, if you get visitors in the first place, most people are not going to sign up and join your list because they're busy. It's not clear. There's too many things they can click on. We want to keep things simple. We want to have a one-page place to send people to where all somebody can do is join our list. That's it, because we know that the second step in the 3 steps of having a successful business is building a list. So we want to focus on building a list. That's all we want to do. Most of my web pages online, as you may have noticed, are simply one pages. That's it, because I do all my marketing through email marketing when people are on my list. So I don't need complex websites. Yes, I do have some products that have lots of different web pages to them. But to get people on our list, we only need a one-page website. Lead Pages is the service that I recommend. You might have heard about this. They allow us to create great-looking web pages. Now, do we need a free gift to entice visitors to join our list? Most of the time, yes. We can sometimes. There's something known as a reverse landing page. I'm not going to get too advanced here, but that means that we could give away some content at a landing page up front and then end that content by saying something like, if you enjoyed this, you may like to know I share more information like this online. Just give me your email and we can stay in touch. So you're not promising a free gift because you've given away the gift in the form of free content. But generally, it's a good idea to have some sort of free gift that we're going to give away. And there's tons of ideas of what that could be. It could be a free video, an ebook. Personally, I don't like the term ebook. It sounds like it hasn't got much value. An infographic, they're very popular these days, one-page infographics. A template, how to do something, a cheat sheet, a checklist, a step-by-step guide to doing something, a list of resources. So whatever your niche is, think about your niche. Could you share a list of resources or sites or services that might help people? Maybe a script if you offering, I don't know, a phone consultation, for example. You could offer a script of what people need to say on the phone, a collection of useful examples of things. So this is known as a swipe file. Maybe you've seen a collection of Facebook ads that you liked. You could take screenshots of those and put 50 of them together in a swipe file. We could get more advanced. We could have a printable calendar, a workbook. I've given away workbooks online, inspirational quotes, an online journal. I've given away an online journal as well, collection of recipes. Maybe you do events. You could give away 2 free tickets to an event. You could give away a free email course. Again, once we start to get our creativity flowing, there's lots of ideas of what we could give away, what we could create, or we could get somebody to create it for us as our free gift. But the point is, once we know our niche, we will then create a simple and a high converting one-page website known as a landing page. And at our landing page, we will offer a free gift in return for our visitors' email address. So that is step 2. We build a list of people that are interested in our niche. I'm going to turn my camera back on, I think, because I feel like I kind of missed talking to you or seeing one-way thing. But building a list of people interested in our niche is step number 2. Now, again, we haven't made any money yet, but we're doing something more important. We're building a list of people that are already interested in a profitable area. And when it's broken down step by step like this, it suddenly becomes something that is a bit more achievable. So just looking at some of your comments here, let's just remind ourselves of these 3 steps. I know I'm reminding ourselves of these 3 steps a few times, but I find that repetition, what's that saying? Repetition is I can't remember the saying now. Something like repetition is the key to learning, or it's something like that. When we repeat things a few more times, because these 3 steps, I want you to be able to repeat, as I mentioned earlier, over a coffee later with your girlfriend or your boyfriend or your husband or your wife or whoever. When somebody says to you, so how was that webinar? Was it worth your while? You say, well, actually, do you know what? Yes, I know how a web business works. And there are 3 steps. Step 1 is we find a profitable niche. Step 2 is we build a list of people interested in that niche. Then step 3 is we market related products or services to that list. Then your friend would be like, that kind of makes sense. That kind of makes sense. So I'm conscious of the time. I'm keeping one eye on the clock here. Let's move on to step 3, market related products. This is where the monetization takes place in step 3. So the biggest seller online is information. More people spend more money on information than anything else. I only sell information. I would recommend that you do the same. And I would also recommend that you only sell digital information. Yes, you can sell physical products if you like, but of course that means shipping. Yes, you could get somebody else to ship them out, but I've said 1,000 times, let's just start simple. Let's just start you getting a little bit of a regular income. Then we can get a little bit more advanced and try other things. But let's start simple. There's a great law called Occam's razor. I don't know if you've heard of this. Occam's razor, strange name, I know. And essentially Occam's razor states that whatever is the simplest path to take is the path we're going to take. I've embraced this big time in my web business because it's right. Again, that like the entrepreneurial saying, just because we could do something doesn't mean we should do something. So digital information is the thing to sell online. And when it comes to selling products, we really have two choices. We can either discover good quality affiliate products that already exist out there where we will get paid a commission or a referral fee. And I've had quite a lot of success doing this, or create our own products. I've had even more success creating my own products. Interestingly, when I started online, I didn't think I would end up creating my own products, but to be perfectly transparent with you, I couldn't find that many products that I genuinely could look people in the eye and say, this is a great product, knowing that I was promoting it because I wanted to make, a commission. So I ended up creating my own products. Creating your own products may be something that you end up doing. That's something we can talk about, we can explore later. Great thing about creating our own products as well is we get to keep 100%, of course, of the sale. You can also have affiliates promote your product for you. And here's the thing, creating your own product is not something that needs to take a huge amount of time. You could easily create, it could be something like, imagine your niche is, let's say, well, we talked about cryptocurrency. Imagine I interview some people in the cryptocurrency space and put that interview behind a members area. That could be my product. I could easily sell that for $27 a month. All you need is 30 people paying that, and that works out at $500 a month. There's tools out there like Teachable, like Kajabi, you may have heard of these, that allow us to, all the tech to be taken care of. So having stuff in a members area, all that is taken care of. We just focus on the content. So when it comes to products, there's tons of affiliate products out there that we can promote. We could, of course, explore creating our own products as well, but we only talk about the product when we have a list of people to market to. So the monetization takes place in step 3. Personally, I would also recommend, when you can, if you can create a rebilling product or a recurring product. So when you make a sale, it's essentially a sale every month, so long as, of course, you look after your member and that they feel that they are getting value. Then you're not trying to make a continually new sale month in, month out. So I love recommending products that have rebilling, whether it's coaching or continuity or hosting, something where every month somebody pays. And most of us, of course, sign up to many things that do pay every month. Look at Netflix, look at our cell phone bill. So it's hardly a new business model, but it's good to create a product. I would even recommend, rather than creating a product and trying to sell it for $99, create a product and sell it for $27 a month. Now, some people won't stay after 1 month, but some people will. So rebilling products, continuity products are definitely the way to go. So when it comes to products, which is where the monetization takes place, we have two choices. We can either promote existing products and get paid a commission, which is great, or create our own products and keep 100% of the sale. Right, we're 31 minutes in. So let's just focus. Any successful online business can be broken down into 3 steps. Remember, just because you could do something doesn't mean you should do something. Don't be bombarded by all these shiny buttons of things that we could do. We need to understand these fundamentals first and execute. You know the saying, knowledge is power? I don't think that's true at all. Knowledge is not power. Knowledge is only power when we implement it. We need to take action. Knowledge alone is actually going to do you nothing. Knowledge is going to make you no money at all unless we implement it. So that's really why I wanted to host this presentation, to go through what to do. This is the what. This is the what. This is what we do. This is the what. Now, how do we do it? Okay, well, I want to come on to that right now, because for me to show you, literally in video formatting how to do it, it's going to take me a few days. I can easily do it though, and I do have something that will essentially go through exactly that. So just to sum up the 3 steps, which is the point of this presentation when it comes to having a successful online business. Step 1, we find a profitable niche. Our niche is veganism. Great. Step 2, we build a list of people interested in veganism. We have a 1-page website with a nice free gift about the top 10 healthy vegan food or vegetarian foods that we give away at that page. We then build a list of people that have already expressed an interest. We already know they're known as warm prospects. They're already interested in this subject matter. So they then come onto our list. Will every visitor join our list? No, of course they won't. But some will, because we're only going to be getting people coming to our website that are already interested in this subject matter. And then step 3, when they're on our list, we will engage with them, and then we will market related products or services to our list. So as I've just mentioned, this is really the what to do. And I'm not kidding when I say to you, when I've spoken at events, that people have paid between $27,000 and $52,000, and they still don't understand these 3 steps. So hopefully this last 25 minutes has at least given you kind of, you write this down on a napkin. That is how a web business works. Those 3 steps. That's it. This is it. Hooray. Now, of course, we need to know how to go and do it. It's like anything, once we sort of know what to do, it's like, okay, I know what I want to do. That feels great. Now, how do we go and do it? Well, I mentioned at the beginning, I do have an offer for you. If you're interested, completely fine. If not, Chris Farrell membership. I'd like to spend maybe just a few quick minutes wrapping up, telling you about Chris Farrell membership, and more importantly, why this is of benefit for you. And also, let me quickly mention, you can't purchase Chris Farrell membership online. So this presentation, or if you're on my list, are the only ways to come on board. So this isn't some sort of false scarcity I'm saying. If you go to chrisfarrellmembership.com later, you'll see there's no buy now button. You cannot come on board. I intentionally do that because I only want people to come on board that really are hungry and passionate to make a bit of an extra income online, because I know I can teach you how to do it. I've taught thousands of people how to do it, but I don't want tire kickers. That's why you can't buy it, Chris Farrell membership. I know that sounds a bit weird. You think, why am I not trying to sell all the time? So the only way you can come on board is if you just bear with me a couple more minutes, and I'm going to give you a secret link, okay? So, as I've just mentioned, you cannot join Chris Farrell membership at chrisfarrellmembership.com. I intentionally only invite people to join who've watched presentations such as this or who are on my list. I do have a special link for you, though. In fact, I'm going to put it in the chat as well. If you're watching the recording, you can't see the chat, but you can at any time go to this link here, Chris Farrell, 2 R's in farrell.com/yes. That will take you to an order form for $4.95. Then after that, and that's for 7 days, full access. Then after 7 days, it's $37 a month. You can cancel at any time, of course. You're not tied in. There's no contracts. You can cancel with one click in the members area. We'll look at the members area in a few seconds' time. But firstly, let me go through why I feel Chris Farrell membership is of benefit for you. And I'm not just saying this because I created it. I created this because I got frustrated when I started at how many jokers were selling stuff that just didn't make any sense, or they weren't explaining things. One thing I've noticed is, it's interesting, isn't it? It's one thing to know a subject matter, but would you agree it's a totally different skill set to be able to explain it in an easy to understand and hopefully interesting manner? And I met tons of people that I couldn't learn from. I just found them dull, or they weren't explaining things clearly. And I was like, this doesn't make sense. So I've worked very hard, and if you've known me for any amount of time, I'm sure you know this yourself firsthand, making sure all the content is very, very step-by-step and very easy to follow. And as I say, we'll take a look in a few moments' time. So inside Chris Farrell membership, the main course is called 10 Minutes to Success. This has been completely revamped for 2018. Everything is congruent to what is working online right now, and it will explain how to create a successful online business, step-by-step, all in this course called 10 Minutes to Success. That course will probably, if you race through it, you could probably go through it all in, I don't know, 3 days maybe. It's about 6 hours of content, 7 hours of content. So it's essentially everything summed up into this one course called 10 Minutes to Success. I think there's 30 videos. We'll take a look at that in a second. I also have a separate course about how to find a profitable niche, if you'd like me to go through what we touched on in this video in more detail. I also talk about traffic. In particular, I have a Facebook ads course for you. I have a tools and resources section. I mentioned earlier, tools and resources are always very popular. People are always very interested in what other people are using to grow and scale their business. So I have a big tools and resources section. I also have something that I had no idea would be so popular. And that is that when I started online, I documented my struggles. I essentially had an online journal. I kept it totally private, and it's only available still within the members area at Chris Farrell membership. But I track every single day from day 1 to day 100. I'm annoyed at myself that I stopped at day 100. I don't know why. I wish I'd carried on. But I track the highs and the lows and the triumphs and the late nights, and when I started to make money and when I got confused. So it's all the highs, the whole range of emotions. So you might find that quite interesting. And I'm also going to include as a bonus something that's hugely valuable, and that is my top 27 emails that I have personally written that I use to make, I've made over 7 figures online. all of that income has come through email marketing. So what do I actually put in those emails? Well, these have taken me years of blood, sweat and tears and testing and tweaking. And I put all of them, or my top 27, into one document. And that's as a bonus in the members area at Chris Farrell membership. So if you're interested in getting your hands on all this, it's only $4.95 to start. chrisfarrell.com/yes is where to go to. I'm going to spend, now I said I wanted to keep this presentation 40 minutes. We're going to probably overrun by about 5 minutes. Is that okay with you? Let me know if that is okay with you, because I'd like to quickly show you inside the members area, because I genuinely, and I'm not just saying this, I genuinely think if you're interested in having an online business, and now is the perfect time to start, because the tools, as I say, to get started are so much easier even than they were a few years ago. I would just like to show you what it looks like. Okay, thank you. Thanks, guys, for sticking with me a little bit longer. So let me quickly share my screen here. Can you let me know? Can you see? Let me expand this a little bit. Can you see what looks like? In fact, let me click here on introduction. You should be able to see a picture of me sitting on my sofa at home. Can you see it? Gaston, thank you, my man. Wendy, thank you. Chris, thank you. Robert, Alex, guys, I appreciate your nice words. I'm not just saying that to be gushy to you. Actually, it makes me a little bit emotional, you know, at times. I know that sounds going a bit random now, but isn't having this web business all about essentially trying to help people, and all of us trying to, we're all in the same boat together, aren't we? We all want to make money to look after family, and probably do, I'm sure you've got ideas of bigger, grander things you want to do. I certainly do as well. I've always believed in an abundant mindset. I've never lived in the scarcity mindset. There's enough money for all of us to do well and support one another. And that's one thing I love about Chris Farrell membership. There's a real great community aspect in there. And it really would be a treat to have you on board. I'm not even trying to say that to try and make a sale. As I say, it's $4.95. A lot of this coaching, there's a lot of programs like this that charge $2,000, $3,000 just for online access. And you may well have been a member of some of those. I have. And I know that they were pretty useless because they just don't explain it simply. Oh, don't get me started. Anyway, so very quickly, here's what it looks like inside Chris Farrell membership. Hopefully you'll agree. It's very clean. It's very uncluttered. One thing I'm very proud of is, as I just mentioned, the interactivity. I mean, look at this first video. Over 2,000 comments just below the first video. So there's a lot of interactivity. When you log in, there's a very quick start section. I've got an introduction, 3 steps to making money online, a tour. Essentially, I go through how this site works. Let me just scroll below this video as well. 1,425 comments. Here's the main course I was telling you about, 10 minutes to success. Let me click on that. And 2 things will happen during this course. Firstly, by the end of it, you'll have a web business set up, which is unbelievably exciting. And secondly, I go as far to say even more exciting is you'll understand what you're doing. That's when it really does get fascinating. When when that fear is removed. If you are wanting to run a business and you're hoping it will work, then that's a recipe for disaster. Hope is not a business model. We can't have hope. We need to know for certainty. And the only way we know for certainty is if we follow a proven plan. It's exactly what this is here. 10 minutes to success. I think there's 32 videos going through every single step of how to create a web business. Every video is 10 minutes or less, as the name suggests. Let me show you video number 1 here. As you can see, 2,818 comments. So there's a lot of, the only reason I'm sharing that with you is I don't really think it's like a ghost town in there. And, a lot of people have gone through this training and found it beneficial. I also have other things in Chris Farrell membership that I'm not going to dwell on right now. Profitable niche, a big traffic course. I've got this online journal, all that sort of good stuff. So anyhow, that's how it looks in Chris Farrell membership. Let me just move that out of the way. If you want to come on board, you would be absolutely welcome. chrisfarrell.com/ I'm just trying to go back to my little presentation here, / I've forgotten what it was. Yes, that was it, wasn't it? / yes. So there we go. chrisfarrell.com / yes. We are going to wrap up in a few moments' time. $4.95 for 7 days, then it's $37 a month. Let me just remind you, you can't join Chris Farrell membership if you go to chrisfarrellmembership.com. So this is the only opportunity on this presentation to come on board, unless you sign up to one of my lists and then I emailed you down the line. But if you're already here at this presentation live, or if you're watching the recording, then I would suggest, obviously, you're interested in really having all the clutter removed and having a web business explained simply, I would come on board. It's $4.95. It's an absolute no-brainer. chrisfarrell.com/yes is where to go. Don't forget that unadvertised secret bonus of my email swipe. Emails that I've used over my years. This alone, by the way, is worth 6 figures. To write all this email and have years worth of emails that convert. And let me very quickly share with you some success stories from members of Chris Farrell membership. Here's Natalie, who says that I'm making repeat $1,000 plus incomes on a regular monthly basis. Natalie, a member of Chris Farrell membership. Here's Hap from England, said today I had an $890 day. I think he's converted that from pounds to dollars, and there's still half an hour left to go. He's a great character, Hap. To the others who are reading this, just keep focused on Chris Farrell membership. Here's Scott in Richmond, Virginia. Hey, Scott says, I purchased Chris Farrell's training. A month later, made over $4,000 in affiliate commissions. I remember that. So Chris Farrell membership really is your one-stop shop to finally really getting started online and not wasting any more time and not having any overwhelm or confusion, and to be fully supported and looked after, and to shock horror, to enjoy this process. How much more fun would it be if you're doing this web business and enjoying what you're doing? And it's $4.95 to start. chrisfarrell.com/yes is where to go to. A few more quick success stories, then we're going to wrap up, ladies and gentlemen. We're almost at 45 minutes. Here's Rosh, who says, I've gone from making $0 a month to being a full-blown internet entrepreneur, netting over $20,000 per month. I remember having a phone call with Rosh once he broke the 20 grand a month barrier, and it's life-changing, absolutely life-changing. He's just got engaged as well. Hello, Rosh, if you're watching this. Gaz, hello, Gaz. Gaz has done very well. Gaz says, I've already made close to $50,000 doing exactly what Chris teaches. I expect to make over 100,000. And here are just a few more comments about Chris Farrell membership. Best course I've ever taken, one of the best teachers ever. Awesome. 9 days into this membership, I couldn't ask for more. Finally, a place where you do not get lost. I don't even like reading some of these because they're very humbling. Wow, I am impressed. So the 2 things you'll get when you come on board Chris Farrell membership. Firstly, after going through the simple and step-by-step content, you will have a web business set up. But secondly, and arguably more importantly, you will understand exactly what you are doing, making everything 1,000 times more enjoyable. This business should not be complicated. It's people that overcomplicate things. It should not be the case. And the reason most people overcomplicate things is because they're following somebody that is not explaining things simply and often doesn't even know the process themselves. I've been doing this for 10 years. 2008 I started. So I've had 10 years experience of not only doing this, but teaching how to do this as well. And I only teach what works. I only teach what has worked for me. I'm not teaching theory. I'm not teaching, I think that could work. I only implement stuff in my own business. And once it works, not everything works, but once the things that I implement do work, I then often teach on those things, and all that is in Chris Farrell membership. So, as you saw, lots of comments as well on lots of the pages here, 1,300 comments. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to let you get back to your day. If you have any questions, by the way, I'm happy to stick around just for a few moments. Alex, thank you very much, Alex. Saying terrific webinar, Chris. Thanks for making all this so keep it simple. Have a safe and fun trip to London. Alex, what a gent to remember that I'm traveling. I know I mentioned earlier, but Marwin, I appreciate you guys saying that. Isn't this why we work? So we can kind of do more and give back and travel and stuff. And anyway, I appreciate you guys saying that very, very much. I'm going to quickly look at some of the comments. Linda's saying I best get going. I need to pack soon, Linda. I've got to take 2 of my dogs to the dog sitter. Oh, first world problems, hey, Linda. Ed's asking a good question. Are you happy with Demio? This is the webinar platform I'm using. Ed, I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. It's by far the easiest webinar platform I've used. I'm all about simplifying stuff, so yes. Richard asked a great question. Do you know what, Richard? Richard, I appreciate you, my man. He says, can we pay for the whole year? I do have a discount, Richard, of 33% for the whole year. So it's a big saving, but I haven't got it at that link that I've just put here. If you want to contact us direct, Richard, I could easily send that to you if that would work for you. Trying to think if I've got it handy here. Oh, I haven't got it handy here. Otherwise, I'd post it for you now. So, Richard, if you go to Chris Farrell Support, Chris Farrell, 2 R's, 2 L's, support.com, or you can email me direct, chris@chrisfarrell.com, and I can send you that if that's interested. Linda, thank you for your very nice words. Thank you very, very, very much. Frank saying, does this take the place of my fast track? So what Frank's referring to is I had another product a couple of years ago called 4-week fast track, which was essentially, if you like, well, let me back up a little bit. How to create a web business. There's no secret pill. There's not like something that I reveal here that I don't reveal there. In 4-week fast track, it was broken down into, we had weekly webinars. There was one-on-one coaching with me. So it was a more expensive product. I think it was $495 or maybe it was even $995. I can't remember. So the content in Chris Farrell membership is the same, Frank, in the context that I'm still explaining how web business works. In fact, I would say the content in Chris Farrell membership is a lot more up to date because it's all been remade for 2018. At least 10 Minutes of Success has, and most of the other courses as well. Marwin saying, I look like I've lost weight. Do I? Somebody else said that to me. Actually, I have been going to the gym quite a lot, so maybe I have. Right, chaps. Oh, Pete, my man. Thanks, buddy. Thank you. Linda, gosh, guys, these compliments. Linda saying she writes about me in my ebooks and recommends me. Linda, I'd love to know if I can help you. By the way, if you're not a member of the Facebook group yet, do you know what? Let me quickly, I should have done this beforehand. If you're not a member of our Facebook group, let me quickly get the link here. I'm going to put a link here in the chat. Get comments now saying people think I look younger. I've had people say that as well. Must be the California sunshine. There's a link here to the Facebook group. If you're not yet a member, this is free, by the way, the Facebook group. We have lots of fun stuff in there. I'd be thrilled to see you in there if you're not yet a member. Oh, Jeff, is that it for the year? Oh, gosh. Jeff, thank you so much. Richard, oh, sorry, was it Frank or Richard asked for the year? I'm just going to type in here. If you want to come on board for a year at a discount, I've just put a link in the chat here that says year link. You might want to write this down as well. It's a 33% discount, so it's a big saving. chrisfarrell.com/year. chrisfarrell.com/year is where to go if you want to come on board for the year discount. Mike is saying, I desperately need to make $1,000 a month as a disabled person online. As a disabled person, online seems to be my only hope. Oh, Mike, listen, man, email me direct, and just email me direct, and I'll see if I can help you with something. So do that. Okay, right, guys, I'm going to let you run. I have a flight. I don't think Norwegian Air is going to wait if I call them up. Come on, Norwegian Air, I'm on a webinar. Can't you delay the flight by a little bit? But Mr. Farrell, there's 400 other passengers, but it's a webinar. Don't think they'll go. Joey's in. Joe, great to see you in here. Great to see you in the member. I appreciate your time very much. I'm not just saying this. It's something that people say at the end of webinars. As I said, I used to get so frustrated at webinars where people talk about themselves the whole time, and nobody cares really. Generally, I mean, we do care, but you know what I mean. You don't really care about somebody's 20-minute story. So I want to make sure that this is beneficial for you, even if you don't come on board Chris Farrell membership. That's of course fine. I hope that you have taken some value from these, 45 minutes of understanding the 3 steps. Step 1, we find a profitable niche. Step 2 is we build a list of people interested in that niche. Step 3 is we market related products to that list. That alone will save you years of sweating and struggling online. So embrace that. Go and do that yourself. Obviously, I'll show you how to do it step by step in Chris Farrell membership. chrisfarrell.com/yes is where to go to. I'm going to let you get back to your day. Really appreciate your time. And I will check in with you again soon. Thank you so much for giving up your time today. Talk to you later. All the best. Bye.